All right, so for this next topic, we're going to go through just some basics of how to get data into the map. Now you got everything installed. Now what can we do with this? So the first thing, we probably want to go through some of the toolbars that are available to you. And then, like what you're going to use and have and need during this course. Maybe we can at least get some of these toolbars in, and then from there we can get some data in and start working with it. Start becoming comfortable with the software and with utilizing ArcGIS. So if you right click, there's a lot of right clicking that goes on in this, but if you right click on here, these are all the different toolbars that we have. So right now there's only like the standard and the basic tools. We're going to probably need a little bit more than just that. So the big one that we're going to be utilizing is the editor. This toolbar is very important for editing data, so making changes to some shapefiles or feature classes within geodatabases. We'll go through this in some length later in the class. So you can just pin it up there wherever. You can drag it if you put your cursor at the end of it. The next one we're going to be utilizing is this georeferencing. This tool, we can take images and overlay them on a map to give ourselves a little better spatial reference. So we're going to be utilizing that later in the class. Next one, this one's pretty important, is the layout one. So if we're building and making actual maps to either like print out or make a PDF, we can utilize this particular toolbar. And then I think that might be all that we need for this time. We can actually add the spatial analyst one. We might be utilizing this one later in the course. Just have it up there so that we have it. Now you see here, I actually have ArcMap open. So I'm working with ArcMap, and then ArcCatalog. ArcCatalog is basically just another tool to help you maintain your spatial data sets. You're going to be utilizing it for some database management. So it's kind of helpful to use them like kind of almost together. I'm kind of fortunate I have two monitors, so I kind of use the one on one monitor and one on the other. You may not have that available to you. That's okay. You can also use this little thing here on the side and get to the catalog that way. You can pin it. It works really the same. So whatever you become comfortable with, it's pretty flexible, the program, so it's just a matter of becoming comfortable with it. So in one of the lessons here, we're going to be utilizing some shapefiles. So typically when I send shapefiles, I zip them up. Just because there's a handful of different layers with each shapefile, it's just easier to do it. So to get to these, if you right click on it, you can extract the shapefiles in this folder. So we can extract it to here. This is fine. And so now we have in here we have counties, we have roadways, and place points. So you can see here for each shapefile there's a handful of different files associated with each particular shapefile. So that's again why it's nice to have a catalog, because it makes it a little easier to work with. So let me show you. First, you're going to have to connect to this particular folder. So here, let me just drag this over here. So I'm on my desktop. So sorry, desktop. SUNY, New York, New York. So once I get this going, So now you can see that there's 3 different shape files. Take note here too, the different way the icons are located. So you can see here this one kind of has like a little bit of like a tapestry to it. This one's actually going to be a polygon feature. Second one here looks more like lines, so like roads. The third one here is points, like these place points. So that's pretty cool. You can also see when I have this loaded in here, I create this lock file. So that's because I have this open and I have this available to me. So that's locking it so that there wouldn't be a potential another person working on this and editing at the same time as me, or doing something crazy with it, deleting it while I'm needing it. So just be aware that there is a lock file created when that's open. So now that that's here, how do we get it within to ArcMap? So we can either drag it in from there. So now we have the counties in here. You can take like all the roadways, drag them in that way, if that's another way that you're comfortable with. Or you can just take the shape file itself, and that pulls in all the associated files into your map here. So that's basically how we get it into the map. Now that we have it in here, it's kind of just a matter of becoming comfortable with it. I use a lot the center. I have a mouse, and I use like the center button. I press down on it and it kind of grips it. That's pretty useful. You can scroll in, use the wheel as you need. Actually, when you first load in Arc, I kind of feel like it's not as intuitive. So if you go to Customize and Options, I'll just wait here. So roll the wheel. Now I feel like it's a little bit more where if I scroll in and out. But again, just become comfortable with what you think is best. But that's how we can get data into the map. If you want to, so again, sorry, if you just click on the icon here, you can get to like ways to display this data set a little differently. So if we want to maybe have it shown as hollow, we can do so. Next, why don't we go ahead and add like a base map. So if you go up to the file here, you can go to add data and then go to add base map. We can pull, these are like more or less what Esri gives us as defaults. So let's add in like topographic. Okay, so we're going to get this warning here. We're going to just ignore this for now, but we'll go into this a little bit later. Yeah, we'll enable, and let's not show this again. So yeah, there we go. Now we have this in our background. So during this lesson, we were able to get the taskbars kind of how we want it, how we're comfortable with. You guys can explore these if you want to even more. We might actually have to be adding more of these as we go. We kind of look through ArcGIS catalog, which is pretty helpful. So another thing we can look at is the attribute table. So to get to the attribute table, you right click on one of the layers again in the map, and you click on attribute table. Again, you might see it when it shows up first as this. You can pin it down low or something, however you feel comfortable with it. And essentially these are the attributes that are associated with each of the points or lines or polygons. So if I select the one here, I've selected Jefferson County. If I can like zoom to this particular county. and see how I have this one selected here. To change our selections, we can use these two icons here. This one will change how we can select them, and then this one clears our current selection. So right now I have it selected using a rectangle. That's normally what I use. And then you can select them. So you can see right now I'm selecting from counties, from roadways, and from place points. Well, let's say I only want to select the roadways. So let me clear my selection. There's two ways you can do this. You can either, well actually if I have them all selected here again, you can either go into this list by selection and clear the selections of the non-roadways, so the points, or you can go back in your main table of contents, right click on roadways, click on selection, and select, make this the only selectable layer. And then from there, now you can select just the roadways. So we zoom back out to the full extent. So we've gone through the attribute table here. So again, like the attribute table is going to be the data associated with those particular attributes. You can sort these columns as needed, you know, descending, ascending. You can select only certain ones if needed. You can clear your selection again in here in the table. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Another thing I kind of want to show you guys is adding data from Esri's server. So we've already showed you how to add a base map. If you again here go to add data, and we can add data from ArcGIS Online. So here they have this whole repository of data that you might be able to utilize during this course. You can sign in here if you need, but I don't think you necessarily have to. But let's pull in state boundaries. I don't have that in here now. So if I just search state, so here I have these states. Let's click add, and now this data set's going to be added into our map as well. Again, we'll just skip this for now. We might want to change how this is looking. It's just this big peach blob right now. Maybe we want to make that hollow. We'll make this a thicker boundary, kind of just to let it really pop. So now with those state boundaries, with our topography layer, you know, our map's looking pretty good. So let's say at the end of the day we want to save our map. So to do so, you can go to File and go to Save. If you want to save it as something else, like instead of overwriting your current one, you can do Save As. Let's just go to Save, and let's just go back into our SUNY folder here. Let's just call this New York. So the file type is called a ArcMap document, which is going to be a .mxd, and so now we're saved. So it's going to be probably a good habit for you to save continually through working through these assignments. You don't want to lose any of your stuff as you've gone. I've done that in the past, and I kind of really wish I've saved in, and so I would make a good habit of that. But yeah, so we've gone through a lot during this this topic. My recommendation is really just fiddling around with the data, becoming familiar with ArcMap in general. You know, if you need help, the help's available for you there. They do make the help, and it's pretty easy to work through. There's tons of stuff on YouTube other than just what I have out here. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of self-learning in this course, so I would definitely take advantage of that.